Welcome to the Health on Track podcast. Let's talk well-being.
Welcome to the Health on Track podcast, offering you a shot of wellness. I'm Yasmin, and I'm the Member Engagement and Communications Manager at GIG Gulf Insurance. In our episode today, we'll be talking about communities and why they're very important to us. Communities give people a sense of belonging and provide emotional support. It makes us feel less alone as we find others that share our experiences, values, or goals, which can boost mental well-being. Our speaker today is Jessica Moini, a certified life coach and founder of the Kindness Catalog. She helps high-functioning professionals rewrite their stress story, master their emotions, and step into a life that feels aligned. Through her signature programs, self-paced courses, and growing community in Dubai, she's on a mission to show ambitious professionals that success and fulfillment don't have to be mutually exclusive. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jessica.
Thank you for having me and to talk about such an amazing topic that I'm really passionate about.
That's great. Can you tell us more about the Kindness Catalog?
Yes, definitely. So the Kindness Catalog was built from a place of burnout in my own life. I was in the corporate world for 13 years. I struggled in silence through alopecia that was stress-induced, panic attacks, anxiety, and so much more. And so I had the Kindness Catalog start as a very simple idea to help me. And since then, that was 3 years ago, we've flourished. So today we are a coaching and wellbeing platform. We help high achievers through stress, emotional exhaustion, burnout, through tools such as coaching, self-paced courses, free resources, and corporate workshops. But through all of them, our goal is to help people feel fulfilled, happy, and more energized in life, not just accomplished. And of course, beyond that, based on the topic today, we also have a growing community. So that community is based on the shared value of growth and creating a safe environment for people to come as they are, be seen and accepted for who they are, and supported through whatever they're going through in the chaos of life.
Great. So with your work, what do you find are the benefits of being part of a community?
I think today we are digitally connected more than ever before. You know, we are a second away from connecting with someone. But I think with that comes a big element of loneliness as well. You could have 100 WhatsApps, Teams pings, Slack notifications, and still feel like you're never really seen for who you are. So I think community is so important. Yes, it reduces stress, it reduces isolation, but beyond that, it creates an element of psychological safety that we're all craving and we all need. It is a human need. And so through community, whether that's with one person, whether that's with your family or a community that you can find online or at an event, you can build that sense of safety.
Does the importance of communities differ between types of people? So do you find that maybe extroverts enjoy being part of a community more than introverts?
I think, like I was saying, connection is a human need. So I think for introverts and extroverts, it's less about the size of a community or whether you're part of a community or not, but more about how you connect with people and the depth of those connections. So if I look at the Kindness Catalog community, we have both introverts and extroverts, and of course some people in the middle. And for them, introverts, they may like to observe on the WhatsApp group chat, not really get involved, but then they may identify someone through that chat that they want to reach out to and connect with one-on-one. Extroverts, they want to be part of it, the high energy events, get involved in organizing the events. And so through community, I think for either introverts, extroverts, they can fulfill that that need for connection, but depending on how they want to get involved and whatever is comfortable for them is the most important thing.
I think it's also about the type of community. So,
Yes.
and then it could be like a community of introverts, and then, we're all introverts, and then we're all enjoying the same kind of activity together.
Absolutely. And on that, if I look at the Kindness Catalogue community, we have coffee catch-ups, we have fitness events, coaching workshops, even public speaking events that aren't built by our community, but events that exist in other communities that exist that we can be a part of. But I think for introverts, that's maybe not something that they would find enjoyable or fulfilling. But I think joining a community that offers a range of different activities and ways to be involved is really important.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. How can someone find or build a supportive community?
Yeah, so I mean, I would start with shared values. So if I look at myself, 10 years ago, was a high achieving corporate professional surrounded by a lot of friends, acquaintances, but at the same time, I felt so alone and isolated when I was going through alopecia, anxiety, panic attacks. And so back then, I didn't know. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to connect with people that I could feel safe around to say, look, my hair's fallen out and I don't know what to do about it. And I had all of these limiting beliefs. So I can firstly completely relate to somebody that is in a position where they're craving that connection, craving that community, but also don't know where to start. So the question that I would start with is, what do I value? I value growth. Other people may value support or fun, playfulness, creativity, and other things. And then based on that, they can potentially find existing communities. And by communities, I mean events, workshops. And if they're not daring to do that just yet, depending on what they're going through in their own life, start with a connection with one person. Identify somebody in the office that may value the same thing, build that level of connection, and then slowly the people that you surround yourself with will become people that share the same values, and that in itself is community.
I really like that you said shared values, not shared interests or activities, because I think a lot of people think a community would be, we all enjoy hiking, for example, and then they automatically think that this is the kind of community I should belong to. But then later on, they're still not satisfied, or they don't feel like they fit in completely.
Yeah.
Maybe then it's because of what you said, that it's not about the activity, it's about the values.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Over the years, have been part of many different communities, and I did the same thing. I went based on interest. So I enjoy dance, and I went to different dance classes, and it was great. I had a great time, but I didn't quite feel like,
You belong.
yes, because those people were great for the experience and they're great in their own right. But I think to really get that deep sense of connection where you feel safe and understood, you have to have some level of shared values. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in your experience, how do you find that being part of a community helps people overcome challenges or setbacks in life?
Yes. So setbacks and challenges, we all go through them. Of course we do. And I think being part of a community where you really feel seen and understood and safe, that is the main thing, can be so important to, and let's differentiate being rescued and supported. That's super important. When you're in a safe space with the right people that share the same values as you, they can really empower you. And that's what support looks like. Talking it out with somebody who may or may not understand, but is there to say, we need to really differentiate the idea of rescue versus support, because the lines can become blurred, boundaries can be crossed. And yeah, I think when you're searching for the right community, really think about that. What are you trying to gain from that community? Because a lot of us seek that deep level of connection when we are going through something, when we do need support, whether it's loneliness, isolation, or something at home or at work. And so, yeah, when you're stepping into a new environment, really just ask the question, what am I wanting to gain here? What would success look like, joining a new community?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, or it is my next question. If you think there are downsides to being part of a community, that it could create dependence.
Yes, definitely. But I think it's a matter of perspective, right? Perspective, is that a downside or is it an opportunity to grow? So, for example, you join a new community and you walk away from the first event or an event a year from now and you feel drained. I think as an individual, you get to ask yourself that important question, why? Why do I feel drained? Is it one individual? Is it something that somebody said that triggered me? Or is it the entire environment and vibe? And then based on that, you get to make an empowered decision. Do I set a boundary? Do I need to walk away? Do I need to find new friends, a new sense of community somewhere else? And so, yes, you can see that as a downside, but for me, for someone who values growth, I think it's an opportunity to grow either way.
Yeah. You spoke about how digital platforms now, they offer a lot of opportunities for connection and they make it very easy to just instantly reach someone. But do you think that's connection or just reachability?
I think it's definitely connection. Yeah, I really do believe that that's connection. I mean, outside of communities like the Kindness Catalogue, I look at me. I've lived in Dubai for the past 13 years. Every single night, I call my mom, my grandmother, and we connect. So that level of connection, whether it be online or face to face, can still be there, definitely. But I think deciding what you want as an individual when you're looking for connection, when you're looking for new friends, a new community, does that look like online, WhatsApp chats, Instagram groups, and so on? Or does it look like that face-to-face connection? Because some people, they're limited by geography, they are limited by responsibilities, the roles that they play at work.
Time limits.
Time, yes, people are time poor. So I think having a safe space online where people can show up and connect with people is really powerful. But I also think that that goes back to what type of person you are and what you really value. Because if you're somebody that's time poor and has a lot of existing pressures and responsibilities, but you are, craving that face-to-face connection, you need to prioritize doing that, even if it's just once a month. But yeah, I think whatever works for you as an individual.
But do you think that social media maybe blurred the lines a bit for this? Like, you're connected to so many people, people from your high school, people from your old jobs, but maybe it's just it seems like you have all these connections, but when you think about it, are we really connected or do we just have a big social media network?
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt it when I went through anxiety, when I went through alopecia and panic attacks and everything else. I had thousands of connections online, but I felt so alone.
Yeah.
So, yes, it is so important to differentiate the two, not just having the number of connections or followers that you have, but really having a space. Is that a group chat? Is that a one-on-one conversation with somebody who you think might understand where you are and what you're going through? But you won't know unless you try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, put yourself out there. Give it a go. Reach out to that one friend who you think might listen and be able to help with what you're going through, just by being supportive, but you'll never know unless you try.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, what if someone has a fear of rejection, or they're worried that if they join a community that they will not be accepted into this community?
Yeah.
What advice do you have for them?
Well, fear of rejection or vulnerability, it comes from a place of really linking that back to our worth. For example, I put myself out there, I send, a one-on-one message to somebody and they don't respond.
Yeah.
Therefore, that means I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough of connection. I will not be loved. And it can mean so many things depending on where you are in your life, what beliefs you already have. So it can be very scary. But at the same time, it's a muscle. Putting yourself out there to be rejected again and again and again until you become somewhat immune to the discomfort. Sometimes, like for me, the fear, it may never go away, the fear of being rejected. It may just be who I am, but it definitely means less. Over the years, I've made rejection mean it is a reflection of where that person is who you're trying to connect with in their life, not a reflection of me as an individual and my worth. So I think build on the muscle, put yourself out there. And if that seems really scary to send a message to someone or to have a conversation with somebody in the lift in your building, then just start small. It's exposure therapy. What is the tiniest action that you can take to connect with someone? Is it smiling at people in the street? And if so, do that again and again and again until that becomes comfortable, and eventually upgrade. You might say good morning 6 months from now, and then 6 months from then you may be having full-blown conversations with strangers. But I think it can really be scary, but start small and work your way up and reaffirm to your brain being rejected is not bad. I am not in danger. This is not a reflection of my worth, and go from there.
Yep, that's great advice. I want to go back to the boundaries that you mentioned about, setting boundaries with communities. How can someone do that, especially if they're new to a community and they're just not familiar of where or how to draw the line?
It really depends on the circumstances to know where to start with that. So let's have a few examples. I'll give you a few examples. I think a boundary, for example, you're in a thriving community that you love, you share the same values, you feel like it's a safe, happy space for you to be yourself. But there's that one person that continues to bother you, annoy you, reach out to you one-on-one, oversteps the boundaries by asking for too much involvement or support, something that you're not willing to give or you can't offer based on your own circumstances. I think being honest is a really good place to start. Being honest with where you are in your life and why that level of connection isn't working for you right now. But again, it does come back to that vulnerability aspect, right? Being able to set a boundary, you're putting yourself out there in a way that may not be received very well. And that is scary. But I think starting small, being honest with how you feel and building on that, if the person continues to overstep the boundaries, then putting a solid boundary in place, or simply stepping away from the community to find a place where you don't have that level of pressure. Because at the end of the day, we seek community to feel happy, safe, connected, and all of these good things. So if you're coming away from every event not feeling good, maybe it's time to look for another community.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, any tips or advice you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yes, definitely. As a high achiever myself, I know what it is like to push for peak performance and chase your goals whilst tipping in to burnout, emotional exhaustion. And so, since I've been there many times through my career before I became a coach, I would say communities, therapists, coaches like myself, platforms like the Kindness Catalog, they exist to support people through that, to support people to continue living, to continue achieving and striving for what they want whilst feeling good and really identifying boundaries of the limits in which they can reach before they reach the point where they get to the breakdown. They need to go to the doctor, they need to go to the psychiatrist and really take a break from life. So it's not weakness to ask for support, it's strategy, and it is a great performance strategy to feel good, to continue achieving. So yes, I would say anybody seeking community, they can visit the Kindness Catalog website, reach us on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, any platform, and they would be welcomed with open arms.
Great. Thank you so much, Jessica. This was very warm.
Thank you. Thank you.
To all our listeners, we hope we've shown you a different way to taking care of your well-being. We're available on YouTube video and music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anghami, and Amazon Music. Stay well and keep thriving.